my third ice-breaking speech, because the first ice-breaking speech I delivered in 2005 when I first joined Toastmasters. And at that time they didn't really tell me what I should say, so it wasn't an ice-breaking speech about myself, it was a speech about selling. With some personal story, but it wasn't a real one. My second one was in 2014 when I completed my DTM already, and I told about a touching story of meeting a girl from the USA. But now I finally get a chance to deliver a real ice-breaking speech. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. So let's start. I was born in 1984 in a small Ukrainian town called Kiev. And my parents were very young. They were both 19 years old. So as you can guess, I wasn't a very well-planned baby. That's why my parents divorced when I was only 2 years old. I don't remember this, but the first thing I remember is living with my grandma and grandpa. The situation was the following. My grandma persuaded my mom to give me to grandma and grandpa because they didn't have a son. Never. They had only 2 daughters. Come in. And they really wanted to raise a boy. And my mom, meanwhile, married a second time. So they gave her possibility to settle her personal life, and my mom agreed. And it was a wonderful time in my life. They took me for a walk, they cared about me, bought me toys. My grandpa told me really great stories about the war, where I was the main hero. I was a colonel at war, I was a pilot, and my grandma made me a real war coat with shoulder straps and with medals when I was 6 years old. And I started to call my grandma Mom. My mom got scared and took me back. And then she had already divorced with her second husband, by the way, she had third one, and I went to school. And at school, in the first form, attention, I won this. It says something like, a really wise guy. And it was a contest of knowledge of fairy tales by Hans Christian Andersen. And this is the first contest I won, and maybe it was a childish imprint that I really got the desire to win contests after that. Come in. Okay, stand there. Then I actually in my life changed 4 schools and ended up in a Jewish school, where we studied the Jewish language. And I invented such a verse, Lo lamed ivrit chag gadol leyeladim, which means not to learn Jewish is a great holiday for children. In the 7th form, I made my very first enterprise. It was a school newspaper, and it was like my business. The newspaper cost 15 kopecks for 1 copy, and the monthly subscription was 50 kopecks. It was 1996, and I earned about 5 hryvnias per month. It was really great for a boy. By the way, when I wrote an article about the teacher of geography, she was really angry about that, because I wrote, or my journalist wrote, I don't remember who exactly, but that she punished pupils at the lesson. And when there was no lesson, she made me stood up and said, Timur, how dare you write such things about me? I'm a teacher and I will not be your friend anymore, and you will see the consequences of what you have done. So in the 7th form, I really suffered as a real journalist the persecution from the government when I was a little boy. Can you imagine that? But still everything ended up quite well. And in the 10th form, I acquired the desire to be a real economist. I started to study economy and entered the most prestigious Kiev National Economic University, where for 2.5 years I was the best student of the group. And I had such a dream to build a career, to climb the career ladder, to become a really good employee at a big company, maybe like Coca-Cola or like Apple or whatever. There wasn't Apple. Anyway. On the first year of university, I started looking for a job, and here was my big disappointment, that they offered me absolutely senseless work, office work, that didn't require any knowledge at all, any skills, and I was the best student in the group, and for me it was a big disappointment. That's why I decided to abandon the office work. It was terrible for me to think that I have to get up at 7 or even 6 a.m. to get to work through traffic jams and through all the transport. So I just started to teach English to usual people. It was great that people twice older than me looked at me like, oh, please teach us. You're such a great man. You know English and we don't. And later, in a year and a half, I even organized my own language school. At that time, I was an innovator. I developed methods of learning words, of learning grammar, and I really wanted to make the whole world happy by a better way to learn English. But at that time, I fell in love with a girl who was a pianist. And I decided once again to change my career dramatically and become an opera singer. But there was one problem, that I was hopeless. I couldn't sing at all. You see, vocal teachers, all of them told me that I had no chance of becoming a professional in this. Still, I didn't give up and I started to look for some ways to pursue my dream. And even though the girl didn't pay any attention to me anymore, I found a teacher in St. Petersburg who was an innovator too, who told that everyone could learn to sing, even though he didn't sing himself. But I studied with him and it really helped. So in a year I entered Kiev Conservatory, another most prestigious university, but in music, and it was really wonderful because I was full of enthusiasm. I was immersed in the world of music, singing, dancing, and I didn't enter the faculty of opera, I entered the faculty of operetta. But I liked operetta and I had a dream, once again, to sing at the operetta theater in Kiev. When I graduated from conservatory in 2011, I didn't go to sing to operetta. First of all, because I didn't sing very well. And second of all, because I really got already a bit disappointed. I've heard stories about operetta that their stage director is a really harsh guy and the atmosphere is very bad. So I just focused on teaching. You know, if you can't do something, you teach. So I started... Yes. I started teaching voice training for speaking and for singing too a little bit. I started a little bit later teaching public speaking, which I'm doing now, and I didn't get disappointed in this. I had a chance to be at the professional theater actually for half a year. It was recently, and you've heard my speech maybe at the humorous contest about that period of my life. So I got disappointed in the theater, in this profession, and I decided that teaching is better and being a public speaker is better. I see my time is running out already. So I could tell you a lot of things about martial art, how I got a level, about the DTM award. Well, actually my big dream was DTM award and I got it in 2013. Maybe I had such a dream because I couldn't win that goddamn Ukrainian speech contest for a lot of years. And I wanted some compensation. But still I won it in 2015, 23 years after I got that very medal. And I could tell you about that, I could tell you about the Mafia Club, but I want to tell you about ArtTalkers. Several months ago I became the president of ArtTalkers, and now my biggest dream, apart from my job, is to develop the club to make ArtTalkers great again. Just like Donald Trump, yes. And make Anya happy. Thank you.
I would like to share with you an inspirational piece of news about him. Yeah. Recently, Vitaly received a very appreciated Toastmasters award, Advanced Communicator Silver. I invite him to the stage. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I completely agree that uplift the spirit is the hardest thing possible. And that's what I thought yesterday when I was trying to write down my speech, and well, I'm really sorry. This is going to be a failure. Big bummer because I haven't succeeded. You know, just imagine for a second. Summer is over. Done. No more summer. Autumn, rain, freezing wind, cold, then winter, snow, diseases, this autumn flu, that kind of stuff. My boss all over me. Last week, being an absolute, not a very nice man, made me wonder if in the previous life his name was Dick. You know? This is indescribable, ineffable to express what I felt. And moreover, please keep in mind environmental conditions, political situation, taxes, currency exchange rates, prices go up, salaries go down. Uplift the spirit? Seriously? You gotta be kidding me. And then I came up with one good thing in my speech. You know, the title. It's the only thing, you know, I wonder if you read this Carpe Diem. You know what it is? Somebody knows?
Yeah.
Here's the moment.
Horace, the Roman writer, used this phrase 23 years before birth of Christ, and it meant enjoy the moment, or enjoy the day. Diem days, so enjoy the day. And I thought, what? How can you enjoy the day with all that baggage that I've just explained to you? I assume we all have different problems. It's not like we're happy here. So we have, I don't know, bad family issues, we have job-related issues, we have money issues, all kinds of issues, including health issues. With all that, be happy. Miracle. And I needed a miracle to deliver this speech, so right now, here, I thought about miracles, and I remembered a few, and maybe I'll share them with you, so maybe I'll make a miracle and complete my speech. So, first miracle which got into my head was a miracle which happened with Ruby, and her surname is too long to remember it, Ruby in the United States. She was pregnant, absolutely everything went normal. She had a C-section, the baby was out, she was okay, they put her back out of the laboring room, and then she lost conscience, and she had full cardiac arrest. So her heart had problems. And for 2 hours they tried to stabilize her. For 45 minutes they gave her CPR, which is cardiopulmonary resuscitation, you know, this thing. Because the machine wouldn't work. Machine couldn't cope with it. 45 minutes she was dead. The surgeon was pumping her heart instead of her. No blood was coming. 45 minutes. They said, okay, time of death, and then suddenly her heart starts beating again. And she's okay. And she's okay. 2 hours after that, she's okay. She got discharged 4 days later. No problems at all. Not with brain, not with health, with anything. Miracle. Then there was another case. A couple from the United States of America, they were diagnosed with a twin-to-twin syndrome. The lady was pregnant, she had twins. Twin-to-twin syndrome is when the blood vessels of children are intertwined and they're connected. So one child is actually sucking blood from out of the other. In this situation, somebody dies. And they had to make a choice. Which twin to kill? Because otherwise they both would be dead. So the guy from this hospital, he contacted guys from the Salt Lake City hospital, surgeons, and they've arranged a 2-brigade of surgeons operation on this case. They've opened the womb, they've used lasers to dissect vessels and repair them. Both twins survived. Everything went well. And it was a miracle, indeed. And then I remember the last miracle, which is, for me, absolutely stunning. You know, from time to time I read this news, horrible news, somebody jumped out of the window and died, or somebody fell out of the window and died. And this guy from America, 37-year-old worker, fell out of the skyscraper in New York. 47 stories. He flew down 47 stories from the skyscraper to the ground. He hit the ground. there were two of them working there. One was dead immediately. This one survived till they got him into the ER. So they got him into the ER, and they were not able to move him into the surgery, because if they would move him, he would die. So they operated him in the ER. He was in coma for 3 weeks, and then he woke up. And after a year, he was as normal as anyone of us. 47 stories. Just imagine the rate of death if you fall out of the 4th store. So 4 stores, 50% death rate. 47. It's a miracle. And that's what I thought about the uplifting spirit speech. We really need a miracle. We need a miracle to uplift our spirits. That's what I thought. But then another thought popped into my mind. How did those miracles happen? And I started to analyze, and it appeared that in the first case, if there was no doctor who would pump women's heart for 45 minutes in a row, there would be no miracle. She would die. And in the second case, if there were no surgeons who were qualified, who spent hours and hours in surgeries working on their techniques, there would be no children, no twins. One of them would die. And the third case, the guy, if he would be left on the street, he would die immediately. If they would do something wrong, he would die. Miracles are things that happen when we make a lot of work and meet an opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, we make miracles by ourselves each day. We just do not notice them. Maybe when you walk along the street and you smile to somebody. Just smile, simple smile, nothing more. For somebody, you create a miracle. Why? Because this human being is in depression. Or because he thinks that everyone in this world hates him. I constantly get that feeling. Everybody hates me. Walking down the street, look into somebody's eyes, and I see this person definitely hates me. I know it, and from the depths of my heart. No doubt, doubtless, sorry. And you smile, and this person understands, okay, maybe this one doesn't hate me that much. Maybe just a little tiny bit I can be a decent human being. It is a miracle. I witnessed a miracle once. I called a cab, a taxi, and I went in, and the driver was listening classical music. It was a miracle. I never experienced that kind of thing. And then there was one more miracle. I went on Marshrutka once again. It was a very long time ago. Very long time ago. I went in, and there was a guy in a suit wearing a tie. And he said, "Good day to you, sir." And after that, my day was made. He made my day. It was a miracle. Not possible in Ukraine, but it was. It happens here. For me, I spent the whole day being absolutely sure that miracles are possible. This guy, he didn't do anything, but he created a miracle for me. So, if you want to uplift your spirit, if you want to uplift the spirits of the other people, you just do something good. And the more you do, the more opportunities you will catch on the way. The more spirits of the other people you will uplift. And the more spirit will be uplifted for you. Miracles happen all the time. We make them real. And this is what makes me feel very positive. I can do miracles. You can do them. Let's make our world a better place. Thank you.
Which are. Please welcome Kevin.
In order to be happy with these 3 things, why 3? Why not 10? I'm greedy. Why should I only have 3 things? Why? You only give me 3 things. Would you be happy with just 3 things? No. Would you be happy with just 3 things? So why are you so down on me? Inspirational day. 3 things you're supposed to say: wine, women and song, but I'm not going to say that because I don't like song. But I do like wine, and obviously lots of nice women here. And the men aren't bad either, are they? It's a very pretty club. Now, 3 things that would make me happy in life. I'm not going to say the things you think. I'd like to have the very first Superman comic that was made in America. Now, not because I'm a fan of Superman, but because I can sell it for a lot of money. And money buys happiness. Now, happiness is the second thing I want. But to do it, I need the Superman comic first. When I've got the Superman comic, you see, I sell it to a collector, lots of money, I then buy happiness. But if I've got happiness, what do I do with happiness? What would you do with happiness? It doesn't have happiness. One day you'll know when you've got happiness. I'm happy now, without money. Without money. I've got no money and I'm happy. What would I do with happiness? Well, I think with happiness, the important thing to do is to spread that happiness. You see, if you go around life being depressed and unhappy, you make everyone else depressed and unhappy. And if you're like me, you cut those people from your life. And you come to places like this, where you meet people with a like mind. So I would get the Superman comic, sell it to get lots of money, which I would buy happiness, and then I would spread that happiness around to everybody in this room, apart from, I don't think I could say, you only want 3 things, right? Happiness is more than 3 things.
Yeah, I know.
Who wants more than 5 things for happiness? Hands up. No one. Okay, you only want, okay. Who wants more than 100 things? I love this club, it's very greedy.
Thank you very much.
I went to the mountains, the Carpathian Mountains. It was so beautiful. I was trekking with my aunt and his friends. Oh, I'm sorry, his friends. Yes, I was really young and with a big backpack. I climbed to the mountains and it was hard. Okay, and I saw really unbelievable views, Kovarla and others. I really recommend you to hitchhiking because it's really maybe neat because you need relax after a big city.
Thank you.
My experience of the most beautiful place in Ukraine. The most beautiful place in Ukraine is Kyiv Railroad Station. Central Kyiv Railroad Station. I'll explain you why, and trust me, you will believe it. It was a long time ago. I was young and foolish, and with my friends we got together, we drank, we sang, and well, we did a lot of crazy things. The main line is we got wasted, and it was morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. We were completely drunk, absolutely opposite of being sober. And one of the guys said, "Guys, let's go to Zhashkov." Why Zhashkov? I don't know. He could have said any other small city, not important, not on the map of Ukraine. We didn't care. Yes, let's go to Zhashkov. And we went to Zhashkov. Yeah. I remember clearly. We're going to the central railroad station. We're going there. We're coming to the ticket office, and of course, 6 drunk men asking tickets to Zhashkov 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was quite a shock for the lady. She sold us the tickets. We said, okay, let's go. And we said, yeah, okay, so line number 4, and we need to be there like this and this. So we went there, and then I do not remember. I do not remember. I remember opening my eyes, seeing concrete fence, and understanding, my God, I'm in Zhashkov. And tomorrow I need to be in the institute. And this was shocking for me. And the next thing I know, I get up because we were lying down. Some carriage was staying there, normal carriage, and open and eyes of this concrete fence, and then we go outside of this carriage and we see Kyiv railroad station. And I understand we didn't go anywhere, we were just drunk and we fell asleep on the And trust me, when I opened my eyes and realized that we are not in Zashkov, Kyiv Central Railroad Station is the best, the most beautiful place in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
In answer to your question, I would say, yes, in order to meet somebody, you have to feel happy, like the first speaker told. So I would prefer not to meet anybody. Just silence for several hours. In the best case, I would like to spend these hours sleeping. Maybe not in the central railway station. But actually, if I don't have other choices, it would be also okay. I would switch a little bit topic and talk about nice places. And you know, nice places can be very different, and they can be in any place. One day I was Crimean Mountains, and it was very cloudy weather. And I was going up and up to the mountain, and was like a fog, all the time. It took me about maybe 2 hours to get to the mountain, and when I was on the top of the mountain, like it was like a plateau, just 50 centimeters down from the plateau, it was a cloud. And I looked at this, it was like a sea from the cloud. It was unbelievable. And I sat on the mountain, and my legs were in the cloud, and I was upstairs. So it was like a miracle. So absolutely incredible feeling.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Vera, for such an introduction. I really feel a bit shy now because people would continue repeating this, and I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done it because I cannot enter the Toastmasters meeting without people now saying something like that, and I feel like responsibility. But love is in the air. Love is everywhere. Love is in your heart whenever you are, wherever you are. And love, same as happiness, it's not related to the circumstances. It is purely dependent on yourself. And how do you decide to live? To feel happy or to feel sad? To love or not to love? It's purely your perception. Of course, there are extreme cases and extreme situations that you cannot feel happy in and you can't love at that time. But frankly, I believe that people that are in this room can feel happy like 95% of the time of your life. So I do believe that love and happiness is up to you. And without happiness and without the love, and maybe without the comics about Superman that can bring you money and give you happiness, there's not a lot of, the life will be a much more sad thing to have. And love is also like the air. It's a basic need of any human to be in love, to feel it. And in case if you're still hesitating and thinking whether to be happy or to love somebody, or at least yourself, then this is the time, this is it. Start to do it and make this conscious choice. It all starts from your head, from this very place. And then you'll see how the world changes around you. Thank you very much.
The incredible thing that humankind has invented is
not connected with any technical stuff. It's probably was invented earlier than somebody could remember or somebody written. So it was much earlier. I think that the most incredible thing that was invented is actually language. Because this way to communicate is probably the most strong thing that distinguished us from any kind of animals. So we communicate, we talk to each other, and that's why we can form communities, we can do something together, we can talk to each other, we can be much more sophisticated, and this is definitely the most incredible thing, but this is the most difficult thing. You know, there is an anecdote about two gentlemen who are walking into the elevator, and one of them is from Great Britain, another one is from the United States, and the guy from the US says, okay, let's go. So he uses the word elevator, and the British guy says it's a lift, and the American says it's an elevator. Elevators were invented in the United States, and the British guy says, but the language was invented. And this is a lift. So, talking about inventions, I think the language is the most interesting invention.
I cannot choose the most interesting book I ever read, because there are lots of them I adore. But Vera remembered me flowers for Algernon. And I would like to tell several words about this wonderful book. What I like in this book is the desire of a small boy to be clever, to be smart. For every one of us, it seems so usual to be smart. All of us are smart. But there are some people who couldn't do many things, who couldn't read, who couldn't communicate with other people and feel like they feel. I would like to say that this book really impressed me very much. And I would like to say that all of us should respect people who are not so smart as we are. Several weeks ago, I saw a very bad situation in a railway metro station when a boy who is not smart told things that other people thought fool, and other people started laughing at him, and he was so confused, and I was shocked how cruel these people are. My friends, I really recommend you this book, because when you read it, you start to see our world with absolutely different point of view. Read it. Thank you. Toastmasters community influences me. I noticed one interesting thing. When people come to the stage and start introduce themselves, I count how many crutch sounds they say, really. I caught myself on this thought. Let me invite to the stage our accountant, Ruslan Pencherov.
They push us and do something that we start doing better and better. It's if we are on a rocket and we're now with an everlasting energy, we're going to the stars. Vitaly is among those people for me in Toastmasters. There are only 3 of them actually to be in the whole Ukraine. So with his energy and with his meritorious speeches, inspired not only me but others. However, something has happened to me. And I immediately sensed it at the very beginning because Vitaly has kissed me only on one cheek. And I thought, oh my, we've got some problems here. Something's happening. You know, maybe what's uploading, you know, boss that really has different name that he was born with, you know. All those pressing problems, all those autumn has started. It would have been a good speech if it hadn't been for the manual descriptions. Because manual descriptions was uplift spirits, and this is the hardest project description I've ever read in Toastmasters manuals. Said that this kind of speech may be considered the highest level of public speaking, because within your objectives you need to express the general feelings of the audience, uplift this audience spirit, you need to satisfy the listener's expectations, you need to project confidence and authority, and you need to make your manner, make the manner of style and delivery of superior quality. So this is about inspirational speech, and it should be like this way. Unfortunately, and I come to something that you need to work on and improve, I felt a little bit depressed after your speech. You know, with all everything's coming, everybody's dying, you know, it's not like we are happy, and die, and death, and coma, and family problems, and money problems, and everything problems. Then there was some, you know, stories behind it. And with all those three stories, there were very skillful doctors. And I became really scared of myself, you know, what if the doctor would not be so skillful?
They all
So I'm gonna die, everyone's gonna die. So I felt depressed. Up to the end, when you start, you know, marshrutka drivers listen to classical music, yeah, it uplifts my spirit a little bit, but it was as if you put different stories from different places into one speech, and deliver the conclusion that really do not match all the stories that were previous ones. So your conclusion, we make them real, everything we got, we make a lot of work, we make miracle by our cases. Tell us a story about it. Tell a story apart from all those medical cases that were senseless for this speech. Because those cases were about the skillful people and about skillful doctors, and the other stories were about, you know, a driver that just listened to classical music, or a guy who was just, you know, tell you good morning sir, something like that. Something that would really uplift our spirit, because here on this stage with this project, this is a miracle, right? With this project, you need to make the audience, you know, like feel that everything is, they do not see any boundaries. They can do everything with you, with your words, with what you've said to them. And the manual said it really clearly, you shouldn't express any doubts. You should be positive and confident about it. You shouldn't go on stage and, you know, guys, you know, everything's gonna be, oh, the autumn is coming, the summer has gone, you know, everything is depressed. Are you depressed? I am depressed. And when I look at the manual, at least my title is great, you know, positive. So you shouldn't say this. You shouldn't go on the stage and with your Vitaly Rulov's manner, you need to, you know, make the audience believe that everything is possible. And so they come after the meeting and say, thank you, Vitaly. That was, I understand it now, I go home and I am happy through the whole year month. Something like this. I would advise you to redo this speech once again. This is something rare that you might have heard in Toastmasters, but my advice, yeah?
This is the second.
The second. I advise you to redo, because you should not deprive yourself or the audience or this manual of having heard a real inspirational speech. So thank you very much for your attention. I would love to listen to this inspirational speech, which will uplift all our spirits and moods once again.